Um, w why don't we go ahead maybe and talk about one thing that you're really encouraged by in your business? We'll start that way. And then, Caitlin, if you want to talk about the BODi event and some of your main takeaways, does that sound okay?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'll pray. Dear Lord, thank you for a night here where we can get together and just talk about what you're doing in our lives and in the lives of those we have the privilege of working with and loving on in this space. Help us to just adapt a positive mindset tonight and look at the blessing. There are plenty of challenges. We are all aware of the hard things, but let us just really focus tonight on the good you are doing and help build each other up through that. Um, we pray that we can leave here tonight with just some good takeaways of things we can implement and things we're passionate about working on, not in an overwhelmed sense, but just in a very purposeful sense. We pray for those who couldn't be on the call tonight and just ask that you be with them wherever they are. We love you, Lord. Amen.
And
Okay, I can start with things that I am encouraged by in my business right now. I um have just since school has started again in our home and homeschooling three of my kids and just a lot of the other things that are going on in life, I've had to just kind of reconfigure again. Um, where is my time spent best right now? Where am I most excited to plug into my business? And the 4 week gut protocol is something that has just kind of given me new life physically in the last week. And it's something that I've just thought a lot about. Man, I would really love for other women to be able to feel this way. Um, and I guess my focus right now in this last part of the year is just really wanting to share more regularly. I was talking to one of my coaches this week. I I have no problem doing the behind the scenes conversations. I do a lot of that, a lot of conversing that nobody ever sees on the internet. That's where the meat and potatoes of my business takes place. Um,
everyone's meat and potatoes. Everyone. No matter how much you see them doing on the front end, the back end conversations is where it happens for
mhm. Yes. I would like to be more consistent publicly in how I share. I just don't know how I like trying to figure out how to be consistent about that. But really excited about feeling just kind of rejuvenated about how I feel physically and wanting to share that more, if that makes sense. So that's something I've been encouraged by. Caitlin, do you want to go or
everyone. Yeah, I can go next.
okay?
So, it's gonna be a little awkward because the things that I'm gonna be so happy about are some of the people who are gonna be listening to this call. But that's a good thing, right? Well, the first thing is I'll also echo gut protocol. We just kicked off our day one in our group. We had prep week, but then we just did day one today. And of course, I mean, it's a new group. All the excitement is there, all the engagement is there. And so that's really exciting. And really in this season, I think is why I'm probably the most excited about it. I think that's pretty normal when you kick off a group. But I don't know, last month it was like to get anyone to interact, it was like, where are the people? But like this is already, I can tell people are really ready to dig in and they're making the changes and just by their comments and they're sharing the food and all the things, which is like I remember honestly, if you're not doing gut protocol, you need to because the group that I kicked off last year around gut protocol was by far and away like the most engaged, raving, interactive. Like they absolutely loved how they felt. So I'm excited for that. And then the other thing in my business that I'm really excited for is that I say finally, but it's been like the last numerous months. I've really found a way to not um continue to procrastinate on inviting to being a BODi partner. I've really found my groove in like focusing on my retail business in the beginning of the month and then the other part of the month like really focusing on having those conversations because it's all in the conversations as you said, like it's all the conversations around just leading with the fiery belief and realization that truly the people who have the most inside out transformations and the people who have the long standing consistency and taking care of themselves throughout life's ups and downs, they are body partners. And just like leaning into that and really breathing that belief into truly people who are doing well and people who aren't, to say like this really could be the piece that could help you, be consistent and help you, give you that accountability and positive outlet and everything that has been for me and so many other people. And so I've had lots of ladies join, the team over the last few months. And like this weekend, again, it was just a really fun weekend of seeing some of those ladies have been really consistent in sharing their journey. And some just announced and they're having their first wins of having, their one of their people sign up as a customer and get, partway to Emerald and have their Success Club points and like feel that like win of not only in their business, but also just have someone joining them on the journey, which helps their accountability. And I don't know, it's just fun to like see that win for them. And I can't wait to keep that going. Because I've been really where in the past I like just gave people a PDF to be like, this is how you get started. As the body partner, like I'm really getting my hands dirty and hands on, like walking them through conversations and their, initial tasks and everything. And it really actually fills my cup. I was worried it was going to be like something I couldn't sustain, but it's really energized me and got me really excited about doing it more. Um, so that, that was mine. Who wants to go next? Amber's moving. I don't know if that means she's ready to talk or not. She's reaching for her phone. Who's going to do it?
I can share, but I don't have very much to say just because I guess I haven't really met you, Caitlin. But
Nice to meet you. I feel like I've seen your
nice to-
name a lot. Why have I
um
seen your name a lot?
do you?
Yeah, I have.
I have start or just kind of got back into it with the gut protocol and just feeling better and just having people at school talking to me about things. I think just after having my second son, it just has been hard to get into a routine again, finding time to do things. So just trying to figure out what I can do just to make myself feel better and help other people to feel the way that I know you can feel with all of this. So it's kind of where I'm at.
Love it. Yeah, Amber, you're still muted. Do you want me to unmute you? I don't know if you want me to or not. No. Yes, okay. There you go.
Okay.
I didn't want to like unmute you if you had like chaos in the background.
No, well it was, and my husband just got home and I didn't want to do this in front of him, so
Yeah,
I
no.
left the room.
I don't like talking in front of my husband about it.
And then he followed me up here anyway. So um um things have been kind of slow on my end. I've been very short-handed at work, and so all of my time when I get home it's been just catching up on what absolutely needs to be done. And by the end of the night I'm kind of exhausted. Um, but something that I'm seeing like within work and like with the clients that I work with and whatnot is like the modeling that I do, with the food I bring in and the programs I show that I'm doing. And for some of them that have been struggling, it's really encouraging to them. And I had one who had purchased a bike last year just for us, for her to get moving. And she hardly ever used it. And a couple weeks ago, she moved, and her sister didn't want to move it. So she left it. And now the rest of the ladies that were left behind are using it like crazy. And I've been showing them all the programs, and they've been getting on the bike, and they just like really been loving it. So it's fun to see, that they see that it can be fun, and it doesn't have to be like boring and all this hard work and no reward. And
That's awesome.
uh,
I don't know if the other two can talk. Katrina or Tessa, can you talk? I know Tessa, you said you're doing bedtime, so probably not. I don't know if Katrina was not you.
We are in crackhead hours. So we have twirlies. I didn't even hear what the question was, I guess. But I've been listening to everyone's reply.
Just something that you're celebrating in your business that you're grateful for, that's going well, etc.
It's been really rough lately for me, but that's all in my own mind that's made it rough. It doesn't have to be rough, but I'm losing in the mental game. But I had a really great day today and got a lot done. And I
So cute though.
so I can share more another time, but I'm a firm believer in what we do. And it helps me keep up with this craziness. So but I can share more another time.
All right, and I'm assuming Tessa can't share, but actually this whole conversation does lead into honestly one of my main takeaways that I from the BODi training event. First off, if you haven't seen, posted in our Coach Online office, there's, I think it's like 2 hours long. It's a long video of trainings, but it is really quality trainings. And it's kind of the same thing that they showed us live. It was last week or the weekend before that. I'm losing track of 2 weekends ago. Anyway, so of course, in addition to like trainings of how to invite and, all of that, honestly, the main takeaway was like and I shared a lot of it to my team chat, so forgive me if you read all of it in my team chat, but there's a very inspirational speaker that came on that was a BODi coach, and I won't tell you her whole story, but she was put through Hades effectively, and still is between her mom dying young and her being diagnosed when she was 36 herself, having 2 young kids, her husband's in the forces, and then struggling with infertility, like years of just like real struggle, right? Life being super hard. And she started coaching shortly before all of that went down. But in her words, she said something to the effect of, when all of this was happening, when I was in the hospital, dealing with, chemotherapy and everything else, there's so many people that would have legitimately said, like, I need to step away from this business and take care of myself. And those of us who've been in this business many times have heard that many times. But her point was, for her, this business really wasn't just a business to her. It was the accountability that she needed. It was the mindset work that she so badly needed. It was using all of this pain to share to others, to hopefully bring light, to bring hope, to bring inspiration. Like, to her, it was like when life was really terrible, I needed this business even more in those times. I needed that community. I needed that, again, self-work. I needed the accountability to do it, because what was the alternative? And of course, she said it much more inspirationally than I'm saying it right now. But as I went through my day today, again, I won't tell you all the specifics of my day today, but effectively, if you know some of my history, Charlie's been in and out of the hospital multiple times. Just today, his cold that's been around this weekend went to his bad cough that like literally brings so much anxiety. Like, he can't even think straight all day because I'm worried about him. And we get a note saying that a kid in his class had COVID. And again, in a normal kid, maybe it would be a big deal, but in Charlie, it's a big deal. And so like all day, I just like have felt so emotionally drained and empty and like not even in my space and in my head. And I've had lots of times in my business where that has been the case, between postpartum depression and downsizing and all the things. And honestly, this business, as I've shared a lot, is like one of the things that brought me through those times in a way that I still took care of myself. Because when I really thought about it, like, I thought of all the nights to host this inspiring, like, hype up call with the team, like, I don't have energy for this. I don't have the mindset for this. But when I really thought about it, I was like, this is exactly when I actually need it the most. Because, like, the alternative, if I didn't have this call, if I didn't have this business, like, I know how I would cope. I would eat crap. I would watch junk TV. It wouldn't be helpful. It wouldn't be filling my cup. It wouldn't be doing anyone any good, myself nor anyone else. And so like, I just loved how that speaker was just so blunt about like, you know what's hard? Life is hard. Absolutely. We all have stuff. Like, and as I got so many messages from people with their stuff, right, of life coming up and being hard. I hope and I pray that like this business and these communities and what we do fills your cup in a way that even when life is really hard, this space and what we do actually helps you get through it and actually helps you, give you that accountability to take care of yourself through it. Not that it's like a sacrifice of yourself, that it's actually filling you and helping you take care of yourself through it. Because it's really a mindset difference, right? And honestly, as I say all this, there also has been a lot of times where like my gut reaction after a really long, hard day is not, oh, I'm gonna go send out some invites and I want to like vulnerably share on social media. Like, it's kind of like your workouts where you don't want to start. Like when you're feeling really tired and defeated, you don't want to start. But I really have implemented the same thing that I did with my workouts to my business. Just do 5 minutes, just start. And sure enough, then I'm like having to tell myself to shut down at the end of the night because I'm like into it and excited and wanting to do more with it. So I don't know. I feel like that was a little all over the board, but honestly, that is what I took away from our event, because I think that one mindset shift on really like what this is to you, and hopefully that it fills your cup and helps give you a positive outlet that you can feel like no matter what you're going through is making a difference in other people's lives and it's helping you take care of yourself. Like for all those reasons, I hope when life is hard that's what this is for you. Because it really makes a difference between stepping back all the time because life is always hard and busy and all the things versus leaning into it and using it for good. But I don't know, Bethany, do you have anything to say on all of that?
No, I think it's really good. It's really, really good. So I've
What
just
else?
been thinking,
Um,
yeah.
other things, but I'm now like just so on that tangent that it's like, oh, okay. So the other big takeaway from that event was just how much we overcomplicate things, for good or bad. Like there's always new things coming out. There's always new programs, new ways that we're selling things, the monthly, I mean, we all know that there's a million notifications and things, sales and whatnot. But I loved that those trainings that I was referencing before and the speakers really brought back to my roots too, like back when I started 6 years ago. I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have stories. Like I didn't have the million things that I could be doing. And I was told the basics, which am now like trying to tell my coaches over and over again, especially my newer coaches, like the basics, take care of yourself. Number one thing, take care of yourself. Do your wellness, right? And then number two, share about it. Whatever feels good to you. Is it post? Is it a story? Is it, one-on-one, whatever. Share about what you're going through, the ups and the downs and everything. 3, invite and follow people to do it with you because it's better for your accountability. That's how you actually help people. As we talked about earlier on in the call, like the meat and potatoes are the conversations. It's not the Hail Mary posts asking people to join you. It's really like being vulnerable and opening up that door, being like, I really would love for you to do this with me. That's it. Like, because we have so many ways that we can share, and because we have so many things that are happening all the time, we can get so busy being busy, but not actually moving the needle forward. We can be busy finding out what's the new sale, what's the new program, what's the new this. We can waste an hour of time just checking into groups and checking into threads and checking into this, that, and the other thing. That doesn't fill our cup, probably. That probably doesn't move our business forward, right? And we have so many options for sharing. We could do 20 stories a day and a post and a free group and an email blast. And like you could spend all your time just sharing. Again, like that isn't necessarily going to move the needle forward either. It's that balance of doing all those three things just a little bit and knowing that that's enough. You don't have to share on every single platform all the time. And then you don't have to invite 20 people a day and you don't have to, right? Like, I think sometimes because we have so many platforms and so many opportunities and sales and this and that and the other thing, we feel like we have to do all of it in order to do anything, right? We almost like paralyze ourselves from doing anything because there's so much. And I just encourage you to go back to those basics. And honestly, I have left so many groups and chats and stuff. And like, I hope you don't want to leave mine. But at the same time, if it's going to help you actually do those 3 things in a way that gives you peace and productivity and impact of take care of yourself, share about it, invite other people to do it. That's it. I just think when you actually wrap your heads around it and realize like that's enough and that's all you need to do, it'll feel so good and you'll be able to celebrate when you do those things and you won't, again, like overwhelm yourself to the point of never feeling like you've done enough and not doing anything because you can't possibly do everything. So I don't know if you have any comments on that. Bethany.
I was just talking to I think it was Stacy this week, and she had said to me she had been feeling overwhelmed for a couple weeks, and she said, when I just sit down and do it, I realize, okay, that wasn't that big of a deal. And I said, I can relate to that almost on a daily, whether it's coaching work or something else that I'm doing. There are just certain things that I think we dread because we make them out to be such a big deal in our heads. And then when we finally sit down and do it, we're like, man, that was it. That was all that was to that. I wish I would have just done it because I just spent hours or days dreading it when it wasn't anything. So I find that to be extremely accurate in our work. And the other thing I was going to say is, so when I started coaching, I think the first 6 or 7 challenge groups I ran were all 21-day fixed groups. And it was very easy to have a focus because we came out with material at a much slower pace. And so the 21-day fix was very easy to promote. It was very easy to run 21-day groups. It was easy to find a groove. It was so sustainable. Now we put stuff out daily. And I mean, with BODi classes and stuff, like there's new content constantly. It runs entirely different. We've gone from DVDs to like live interactive opportunities for people on the hour, which is great. But it also can cause stress and panic, and where do I put my time? And I think the best thing for me has just been, what do I love most right now? I can offer 1,000 different things to people. And if someone were to come to me and say, hey, do you have anything for this? I could direct them, but that doesn't mean that I have to talk about, promote, and be excited about all 1,000 things. And so I would just say, whatever is making an impact in your life right now, whether that's 4-week gut protocol or that's your bike or, um, whatever that is, that's what I would talk about. Because that excitement and that passion and that commitment to your own health is so visible when you're talking about something that matters to you in the present. Um, so for me right now, it's like this renewed excitement for, man, it feels good to feel good. And it's interesting because I wasn't eating that poorly prior. It's just like, oh, yeah, reining in a little bit here and a little bit there and adding a little bit here, it really adds up and makes a difference. For me, I'm just like, oh, how can I help more women feel comfortable just try, to just try. Because after week 1, it's like you're really moving with it. And um, I don't know. I don't know if you guys notice this too, but when you're out and about in public, I'm just more and more aware all the time of how unhealthy society is, especially moms, because it's like, when do you have the time? It's hard. You have to decide this is more important than something else on your list usually. Or make your day longer and get up, or it hurts to change. It's never comfortable. But I think big picture and long term, how much better these women would feel. Um, so anyway, those are just some of my thoughts here, kind of as we're winding down. I love what Amber and Angie alluded to too, as the modeling that you're doing at work right now. When people are asking about what you're eating and why you're eating it, that just stuff like that is very impactful, because it's not the norm.
Especially when it comes to nutrition. Like when you talk about like society and what normal is, it's just like we've gotten so far away from real food that it's hard to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you really don't make it yourself and buy it yourself, it's not easy to come by. And again, going back to the modeling, as moms, it's hard, honestly, to talk about, because I mean, moms feel enough guilt as it is, and so you don't want it to come off as like guilt, but at the same time, like, just to realize the importance of it, because what you eat, likely what your kids are going to eat, and the struggles that you have, likely they're going to inherit it too. And it's just, yeah, it it's hard to balance that, right? In a way that's just trying to love them and encourage them. um yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But another thing I wanted to just plug, since we're talking a lot about, like, especially like Stacy, who you mentioned, just feels like super overwhelmed and like she psychs her out of doing anything because she doesn't even, yeah, it all seems like too much. They mentioned a lot at the BODi event and even in the BODi Basics page, which is, I guess, going to a new platform, which I won't even get into that. But over and over again, they're sharing about how many coaches, both re-engaged coaches and brand new ones, are having so much success with that 28-day action plan. And so if you are feeling in any way like scatterbrained, overwhelmed, you're finding yourself not doing anything because you don't even know what to do, like in any of those situations, or if you're brand new and you feel like I want more than what whoever's teaching, if you want more to do or whatever, like strongly suggest doing that 20-day action plan. I have heard such good feedback about how it's really just a daily task that is doable, that they spell it right out. And the coaches who have done this 28-day action plan, the success of their business, like they were sharing stats and I was shocked. Like they were talking about how the ones who had went through this 28-day action plan had like and I'm not going to say like they were hitting crazy, like their businesses aren't like crazy, you know, successful, but they're moving forward, right? Like they were having 3 times the success as those who hadn't gone through it for the past 3 years, right? Because they take stats on people who sign up and what happens to them months down the road. And most of them didn't go anywhere. And these people who are actually engaged in this 28-day action plan are feeling empowered. They're also sharing a lot of just like quotes and testimonies from the people who've gone through it, that they feel empowered, that they feel like they know what they need to do, that they, yeah, all the things. So again, I think we all know it's a lot about mindset, and it seems like just a simple tool like this could really help you feel like every day you have, you know, one thing to do, you can celebrate doing it and know and have confidence that it'll help you forward. Where can you find it? Yeah, you should have gotten emails. Because at first it was just like everyone who was signed up as a new coach would get an email that they could join. And then they realized, hey, this is really working. So then all existing people got an email that they can join. But I believe now, let me look because I bookmarked it. I think it was just this Sunday, I want to say Saturday, Sunday. Here, let me look quick. Here, it was on September 15th. I think this went to everyone. So on September 15th, and I'm going to tell you the email just because it had a lot of other information that was helpful too. September 15th, it was sent out saying important updates to partner Facebook groups and BODi Partners app. So everything, if you look, it should be in your BODi Partners app. It's a brand new app. It was to me at least. So if you just search BODi Partners, BODi Partners, and download it, I have my phone with me. Let me look quick. In there, it's kind of like a learning app course. Like it has a module of like the 28-day action plan. And it's kind of runs like a Facebook group. Honestly, I have not dug into it because again, I'm trying to keep my blinders on and work with what's actually working for me.
Yeah, I don't want more either, but if there's like an outline of this 28-day plan somewhere,
yeah, I'm
I
looking.
would, okay, so was the BODi Partners app something new they announced a couple weekends ago then?
Well, they originally, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Here, yeah, I can see it. Okay, so you're not going to be able to see my phone, are you? Yeah, it's ugly. Can you see any of it, or is it just whited out? Okay, so I'll just kind of walk you through it. So it's called BODi Partners, BODi Partners. And originally it was just launched for this 28-day action plan, to kind of have it outside of Facebook, have something that walks them through it. And now because it's going so well, they are now moving the BODi Basics page. That Facebook page is being shut down. The roundtable is being shut down. Like all of our big Facebook groups are being shut down and moved to this partner app. And at first I cringed because I was like, I work a lot on Facebook. I like having it in one space. But it is nice because at the end of every day, you can opt to have them just like, because I was like, I'm never going to go on this separate app and like look at the updates. That's a whole nother thing. I'm never going to open this app, but you can opt to have it email you the day's things, like what was posted today. But either way, yeah, if you, again, you can't see it, but it's kind of like in our app, how you have different programs, like the BOD app has different workout programs. In the same way, like this BODi Partners app has different programs, like a BODi Basics program, which works like a Facebook page. And then there's also this partner training, and under partner training, it has a 28-day action plan, and you can actually join it, which I haven't pushed join because I don't want them to start bombarding you with stuff.
I've got it. I found it. Let's see. Okay.
I have heard really good things about it.
Okay.
Like a lot of even the top coaches and stuff are no longer doing their own like partner trainings. They're just plugging them into the corporates because
okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Okay.
And I just think it helps you walk through it in a sustainable process. Because even if you had like a PDF of 15 steps, like you have to have a certain level of discipline and eating your frog to go ahead and do every single one of those steps. Now, if you said it's a 15-day action plan and someone was telling you every day, okay, you do this piece and then you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, you do this piece. Okay, now I do that. That's effectively what I do with my new coaches now in a message chat. Like, do this, and then they do it, and they're like, "Oh, this is so easy." Yeah, it's just one thing a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, whether you're brand new or even just returning or struggling, anyone who feels overwhelmed or stuck, I would say try out that 20-day action plan. From what I'm understanding, you can start it at any point in time. And if you do, please report back to whoever your upline coach is, because we would love to hear what your thoughts were and how it went while you're doing it or afterwards. I don't think it tells us when I hopped into it. Let me see if I had anything else. Does anyone else have anything they would like to share? Any comments? I have one more thing if no one else has something.
Okay, go for it. I was just looking at the list from before.
The only other thing that I was debating whether to share it, so I don't know if it's really the space or the time, but it is something that keeps being put on my heart over and over again in different ways, in sermons, in podcasts, in devotionals, and all the things. Like, it's quite interesting for me because I'll just tell you right now, what's been putting on my heart is that, like, this space and what we do is for me a form of discipleship, a way that I can encourage women to get one step closer to Jesus, to do something that helps them break, the ties of emotional eating, or start with a consistent habits. You can, add on another, give them faith-based encouragement, like all those things. And that looks very different for all of us, but it's so crazy for me, honestly. I don't know how many of you guys know my story, but it's crazy for me because when I started on these programs, I didn't even know if he was really real. Like, I grew up in the church and all the things, but it was like I was not doing anything like that consistently. I was not going to church. I was not reading the Bible. I was not doing any of those things. And I just came in wanting that like physical change. And he just keeps reiterating to me how, like, even if we're posting about very surface level things, like he may use that in a way that he used in my life, and I know that he's used in others. And I don't know, I feel like this is gonna get all over the place, but for me, I don't know, I just want what I want to boil it down to is I want you guys to really think about, it all comes down to your why, right? And why you're doing it now. And for me, I feel like it always has to come back to, like, as we say with our physical journey, it has to be a deeper why than what's on the surface. So, like, for most of us, the income of this business, probably wherever you're at, is not enough for you to want to do it no matter what. And, the accountability, even, like, you can say all those surface level reasons as to why it's good for you, but all those are easy to put on a shelf and walk away from. I would just ask you, especially if you're a believer, to really pray and seek clarity as to why he wants you to do it. Because if he has you here and you feel like you're supposed to do it, there's a reason why. And I really think if we have that quiet time and we have that clarity and we pray for it and look for it, it starts to hit us over the head over and over again. And again, for me, it's been so good for me to get away from all those surface level reasons as to why I might want to do this. A lot of the ones that we'll share about in a coaching lead gen, the community, this, that, like, those are all great, right? But, like, really down when life gets hard again, like when life gets down and hard, Like, why is it that he wants you to get over yourself and get over your heart and do it anyways? Like, what is it? And just that clarity of knowing that, like, I'm not just doing this to help women get healthy, which is great. And I'm not just doing this to make money for my family, which is great. I'm doing this because it's my way, in my stories and in all that he's had me go through in the past. It's his way of using that to help others get one step closer to him, which I don't care what I'm going through, like that is worthy of it all. It's worthy of the late nights. It's worthy of the ups and downs. It's worthy of all of that. And like, it literally gives me goosebumps. Like you need to pray and get that clarity for yourself, like why he has you here, because that's what's going to make you, again, on those nights where you're so exhausted and you don't think you have anything left in you, it's going to make you think, how can I use this for good? How does he want me to use this? What can I do to fill my cup and help others and all the things? But yeah, it's been really, really cool for him to just say in so many ways of like, this is your way to make disciples. This is your way to impact the world for me. You need to keep going. You're gifted for like that kind of stuff. And again, it's crazy because 6 years ago, I didn't even believe it existed. So I know the kind of, mental, spiritual transformation that can happen by this. And it's just got a new fire in me knowing that like he's behind it. And so, yeah, I want that for all of you because that is what you need at the end of the day. Okay, Bethany.
Yeah,
Say
well,
something.
I was typing and I was like, okay, well, no, I can echo that. The Great Commission looks different for everybody, and this is no different. Like, and I think I look at Katrina and Angie on this call, who I know really well. Like, um, I know their faith is a huge part of who they are, and I don't know Amber and Mary as well, but I just think like I think that's a great just piece of advice is to really pray over, Lord, why do you have me here exactly? Because the money and just like your own health even sometimes isn't enough to keep you focused on the task at hand. They're easy to put on a shelf, like you said. And don't shortchange yourself, because that's the other tricky part of this is there's no guarantees on what success looks like. And if we're defining that from a business standpoint, from how just normally success is defined within our company, uh, it's very easy to feel not successful a lot of the time. But like I know Caitlin has really taken seriously uh, how can I best keep my focus on what God has for me here? And that's involved removing herself from different groups of people and just message threads and groups and all of that because they're distracting from what she knows is her assignment here. And so I would just encourage you guys as well. Um, if you if you feel like Katrina just said she's mentally just it's been a rough week for her, and Angie being away from it for a while and feeling like, do I have a place here? Should I be? I mean, I've been there myself more times than I can count. Um, God's purpose for you here has nothing to do with what Body's definition of success might be. And so it can be hard to separate those, but it's a very real opportunity that when we know Jesus, a very real opportunity that we have here. So anyway.
Hoorah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no good way to end this call.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. And
yeah, thank goodness. Thank you for showing up. Those of you who did. It really does mean a lot. It does.
yeah. And as we just kind of had to switch quick to a plan B, that works too. So yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good chatting.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.